Hey guys, it's From Disciples here with Tristan Pugh, who got top 8 of LCS 10 with his LYRILUSC Tri-brigade. Not quite a pile. Yeah. Hi Tristan.
Hello, another LCS, another top.
Another top. Not quite a Disciple final, but we're fine with it.
Yeah, we could have got there, but new deck, new things to learn,
You
new
think
mistakes to make.
it's fine. So you picked this up at the beginning of the week, right?
Yeah, so I only learnt about it like maybe a week and a half before the event. Um, like in the WAF Discord, someone brought it to our attention. I think Gabe might have brought it up first.
Yeah.
And they sort of played around with it for a joke, and I took it seriously because the combo seemed like it just FTKs every other combo deck the same as they do. But it was just more fun to play than Virtual World. That was the main reason I didn't want to play that deck, is because I played it for the VIP and it was a miserable experience. So I just wanted to play something more fun, and this definitely fit the bill.
And I guess it also catches people off guard because it's like a somewhat new deck. People don't know what to hand trap, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a couple times in the tournament where I'd activate like a fractal, and if they ashed it at any point, I would have just passed my turn, but nobody ever did, because why would
Why
you
would you?
ash a
Yeah,
foolish burial?
because they don't know what they're foolishing as well, right? It's just
Yeah,
random
exactly.
ass card.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, if you want to go over the deck, start with the main deck, I guess. I've
yeah,
got
sure. So
some questions.
okay, so the main deck is split primarily into three different sections. So you've got the bird area, where you've got three turquoise warbler. The main difference between this and like a few other builds that I've seen, it only plays one cobalt sparrow and one sapphire swallow. These are like generally pretty bad to draw. There are a couple times where like opening cobalt sparrow can help you extend, but in general you just don't really want to see them. You just want to search them. So I decided to only play one of each. I definitely seem correct. A lot of like my worst hands included one of these. Like top decking them in situations where you'd rather draw like a Tri-brigade or a Jack in the Hand, for example, is not good. So we cut all those down. We also cut Kinkabio down to one. It's searchable off Jack in the Hand if you need it, because when you reveal for Jack in the Hand, a lot of people have asked me like, what would I reveal? Generally, I reveal Turquoise Warbler, Tri-brigade Nerval, and then one of basically whichever other card I actually need. So that could be Kinkabio, it can be DD Crow as an extra disrupt, it could be Cobalt Sparrow. You can even reveal Droll off it, but some people would take Droll if you reveal it. But like 90% of the time, someone will take Turquoise Warbler because it seems like the best card. It's like the main starter of the deck. But if you take Kinkabio, if you have like Fractal as like an extra combo piece, the combo is the exact same. So it doesn't really matter what they take. You always get what you need. So that's why I only played one of it.
Yeah.
You never get into a long grind where you need to resolve multiples of it. So one is usually enough. And then 1 for 1 obviously gets to any one of them. Usually summon Cobalt Sparrow off it, so you can get the search effect. Cobble the Grave just stops hand traps. Foolish Burial is basically just either kind of another copy of Fractal or a search off Nerval, which is pretty versatile. Then you've got the Tri-brigade section of the deck. So we just play 3 of each because they're all just really, really good to draw. Fractal is like the main starter, along with Warbler. Keras is a very, very good extender. You usually want to search this off Nerval to keep going through hand traps. And then Nerval is kind of what brings 2 engines of the deck together, because it's the level 1 Wind Wing Beast, and it's a Tri-brigade, so you can search it off the LYRILUSC stuff. And then when it goes to grave, it searches for another Tri-brigade, so it sort of ties them both together.
Yeah.
And then Tenki is just a search Fractal, and Fractal can either dump Nerval to get you to another Tri-brigade name, which puts 2 Tri-beast types in the grave, or it can just dump Cobalt Sparrow to retrieve off either Kinkabio or Warbler. And then the rest of the deck is like the 2 end board cards, which are Apex Avian and Stormwinds, and then all the hand traps, which are obviously mandatory for this combo kind of format.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hash and Cormac have gone over like why these choice of hand traps specifically, like Ash, Gamma, and Droll. And then DD Crow is searchable through all the LYRILUSC stuff, like people used to do in Spiral back in the day with Recital Starling. And Imperm is kind of a weird choice, but it was mostly to have overlap against more fringe combo decks like Dragon Link, Infernoble, and Adamantipator, which we expected a few of those. But it does also hit Virtual World and Drytron like a reasonable amount. Against Virtual World, everybody's doing the Cloud Castle combo now, so you get to infinite impermanence the Cloud Castle through Gossip Shadow, and it just ends their turn a lot of the time. Otherwise, against Drytron, you can hit the Manju or you can hit the Union Carrier. Both are pretty good, so it's never just a dead card. Infinite Impermanence definitely overperformed for the weekend, I would say. The rest of the hand trap's pretty standard, obviously.
Yeah,
and then
standard.
Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds is just a complete FTK against so many decks. Like Eldritch struggle a lot to out this. They have to normal summon like Whiptail or Thoroughblade and then attack over it, or Ecclesia, for example, and then you can usually protect it from one attack. Apex Avian is mostly for Virtual World, because Stormwinds doesn't actually do very much against Virtual World because half of their monsters are wind, so you tend to end on Apex Avian. It's also very good for follow-up, where if they can't out the Stormwinds, you need to summon something big to like stop their traps that they set, or hand traps they might have in hand, so you can actually go for game. So that's the main deck. Seems it's like pretty consistent. That's what I liked about it. Most of the hands did the same sort of thing. It's kind of linear to play through once you know certain combos. You just have to get to Simorg, and then the rest is do whatever else you can.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Dragon hand, but you went over that, so I don't have to. Yeah, if you want to go to the extra deck next, then...
Yeah, sure. So we have Link Rebo. This is mostly just for protecting the Stormwinds. So you can end on Simorg with the Stormwinds and a Link Rebo. So if they attempt to attack over Stormwinds, you can make their attack 0. Obviously, they can't special additional monsters, so they only have the normal summon to deal with it. It also just makes Nerval a search for any Tri-brigade, which comes up a few times. But the problem with that is that the Tri-brigade restriction means you can't link using the Link Rebo as material, so it kind of gets stuck in the extra monster zone. But there are workarounds to that. Then you have the Ancient Warriors Link 2. Obviously, you don't summon it using its actual materials, you just cheat it out with one of the Tri-brigades. What it does is it's basically like a Harak Seal. But you can send any card from your hand or field to the grave, so you can send like a dead Tenki or like a dead hand trap like a Gamma, for example, and just bounce one of their monsters and then use it again in your turn. So that card is very, very good. Then you have 2 Ferigi, generic sort of extender to summon the Tri-brigades out from your hand. You usually use this to ladder into Appaloosa, and then they can't hand trip you anymore, obviously. Any of the Tri-brigades that you search off Nerval, you just get to summon with the Ferigi. And then the Grave effect is also relevant. If you draw one of the bricks, like Avian, Stormwinds, or Driver, you just get to draw a new card and then put back the brick.
Yeah, that's really good.
Harpy Conductor is very important as well, just because it's a winged beast that you can summon with the Tri-brigades, because then that ladders into the Simorg link, which needs a winged beast. So you either have to use your LYRILUSC, Nerval, Conductor, well, there are a couple of times where I'd use a Shurag, but that's a bit more fringe. So the Harpy Conductor just being a generic that you can summon off one of the Tri-brigades is very good. It also only requires 2 wins, so you can actually hard make it, which comes up in some of the combos. And then you have the Simorg link, obviously, the best card in the extra deck by a mile. This is like the reason why you'd play the deck, really, just because it makes your end board very, very strong. It also gives you targeting protection for both itself and a winged beast that it points to. So that makes basically just nullifies Eldritch's outs to the Stormwinds. They can't Eldritch send it, and they can't use Conquistador because obviously it would special summon a non-wind. So it just completely solos that matchup. And then it also special summons in either end phase. So when they end their turn, because they can't kill you, you just get to summon either a Nerval, Cobalt Sparrow, or Avian, like I said, and then just kill them on their turn, on your follow-up turn. The Doom Eagle is very, very good as well. You generally don't summon this like the proper way. You just cheat it out with one of the Tri-brigades because it's a Link 3 that you can use as Link material. But it has a relevant second effect as well. You can target a monster in your opponent's grave and shuffle it into the deck. So against Virtual Worlds, you can shuffle back a Shen Shen, so you don't have to negate it in their turn. Or you can shuffle back a Nian to ruin some of their follow-up. It's a very, very good card. Then you have Apollo, obviously, just stop hand traps in your combo. Access code just makes it a lot easier to go for game. There are a couple times where I'd make it make it using a Link 4 to make it 6/3, so then you just normal summon a Fractal on its game. Then we have 2 Shurag. Obviously, this is the Link 4 Tri-brigade, and it has a couple of good effects as to. The first one is when it's special summoned, you can just banish a card on the field. It doesn't target, so it can out Dragoon. It just bodies Eldritch because they have to chain their cards or they just lose them, so it's a very good out to Eldritch itself. And then it also triggers if another Tri-beast is special summoned to your field, so you get like double use out of it if it survives a turn. And then if it's sent to the grave, you can add any of the Tri-beasts whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished cards. So if you've got this on the field, it's generally because you've banished a lot of materials for the Tri-brigades. So you can search any one of them. So you can often search a Keras to keep going through hand traps. This card is pivotal for playing through Nibiru as well, because you just hard make this, make a Ferrigate, search for one of the Tri-brigades, and then Ferrigate something out of your hand to make the Simorgh. It's very, very good. Then you have the Link 1 LYRILUSC. Recital styling, which people used to play in Spiral. It's actually a LYRILUSC, so it's very good. You use it for the combos. You generally search a Nerval or Sapphire Swallow off of it. It actually has a couple other effects which are very good for stealing games. So the first one, if it's Xyz summoned, you could target a monster on the field and it gains 300 attack and defense. It doesn't actually have to be your monster. So you can boost an opponent's monster, and then with its third effect, any battle damage you take is also inflicted to your opponent. So you just crash into their monster and they take a massive amount of damage. Then you have a Simple Nightingale. Obviously, people play this in Drytron to make an easy Zeus. It's the exact same in this. And then, obviously, the Zeus to go with it. And then Cypher and Lord Omega. It's very good because with the Gamma, if you have Turquoise Warbler as well, you need no monsters on the field to be able to special summon it. So you just turn your Gamma and Driver into Omega, loop another card out their hand, and then summon the Warbler. It's also relevant because you can't actually use the Gamma and the Driver for link material for anything, because the Tri-brigades lock you out of using them as link material.
Yeah. No,
then, any questions about the extra deck?
No, I just think the Doom Eagle card is like low-key crazy. I only just read it, but yeah, it's quite crazy.
It's really good because it's also a quick effect. If you don't need to use it for Link 4, you just get double use out of it.
Yeah, like you forgot to mention that like in the Drytron matchup, it basically like it just sounds like it solos it.
Yeah, it's just an actual disrupt against Drytron.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, nothing else about the extra deck. I don't know enough about this deck to ask if there's any other like cards you'd play or not.
I guess there's some people are playing Rugal, the Link 3 Tri-brigade. In your opponent's turn, it can summon a Tri-brigade from grave, I think, but it negates their effects. So you use it in combination with Shurag. I just didn't think it was necessary. If you could make that board, you could just make another end board that would solo them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
The Stormwind seems like enough versus control that you don't actually need to end on like a control specific end board.
No, I agree with you there. So yeah, let's just get into the side deck then.
Sure. So the side deck is pretty clean, I think. You just have 3 Lancia for Virtual World, obviously, and any other deck that it would be good against. 3 Cycle Reader for Drytron. So then, post-siding, you would have 16 hand traps against combo, which is more than enough where you should open 2. And then we have 3 Lightning Storm, Duster, and Reboot. Obviously, just very, very good against control if you see one of them. You only really need to see 1 card against control, so that's why there's only 5 of them. And then going first, this deck kind of struggles with droplets because there's no end board currently that deals with droplets or Dark Ruler until we get Kit. So it just made sense to side cards to deal with it. Imperial Order seems like the best one, and then Solemn Judgment just seems like the second best one. There was nothing else that some people had tested with Harpy's Featherstorm, but the problem with that card is that if you do just completely brick, Featherstorm is going to do nothing, whereas Judgment can potentially save you for a turn. It came up once or twice, so I think I was justified in my decision.
Yeah, I played against this deck once at locals, and he Harpy's Featherstormed me when I was playing my Megalith strategy, and it was not fun.
Yeah, that card is like a complete blowout when it resolves, but it just felt unnecessary to actually play it.
It just doesn't feel better than like Imperial Order and Judgment.
Yeah, exactly. It came up like once or twice where I would Judgment a Virtual Ward normal summon, and they didn't have any extenders, so I could buy myself another turn and then unbrick.
Yeah. So what would you side out for these going first?
So going first, I would generally side out one of the hand traps, either Droll or Imperm. Gamma is worth keeping in just because people will play Droll against you, and you have like enough cards to force it with Jack in the Hand, Tenki, and Fractal sometimes.
Yeah.
People don't tend to shotgun Lancia just because you're not playing Desires or Extrav or anything. That's why you play the Call by the Grave, and you can make a Simorgh through Lancia a lot of the time anyway. And then going second for the extra 3 hand traps, I'd generally side out 1 Tenki, 1 Jack in the Hand, and then against Virtual World, I'd take out Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds just because you don't tend to want to end on it. Otherwise, you can replace maybe one of the lower impact hand traps like an Asher or an Imperm or a Droll.
That makes sense. Do you keep the Apex Avian Inverse Drytron as well, or?
Yeah. So for going first against Tristan, yeah, you keep it in just because even if you open with Stormwinds, you can just normal summon it against Drytron and it can win the game. But if you open Stormwinds and combo, you can end on both Avian and Stormwinds, so it just becomes way easier to win.
Way easier, yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Are there any like changes you'd make to this list if you were to like enter the tournament again?
I don't think so. I think I was really happy with like every card in this deck. I could maybe cut a second Shurag for something, but there wasn't anything that I really missed in the tournament, I would say. It just came down to learning the deck better, I think.
Yeah.
And obviously with the new Tri-brigade kit, the deck changes quite a bit as well, which is pretty exciting. This deck is a lot of fun to play. I didn't realise Tri-brigades were this good.
I don't think anyone did. Do you have any like final thoughts on the event and shout outs afterwards?
Yes, the event was really, really well run. I think I mentioned this to Hani, that there was just very few long breaks between rounds. Like, obviously some of the rounds went long, but that's because people were actually playing and they don't play the stupid time rules. They actually give you a chance to play proper Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So that was very, very well done. Like, as soon as the last match ended, the next round was up within like 5 minutes. So I think they did a really, really good job with that. They made the pairings very easy to read as well. It had their DB names and their real names and their team names.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was very, very well run, I think. And then shout out the Disciples. Cheer Squad is always good to have. WAF Discord, of course, because I wouldn't have played this deck if I wasn't in the Bird Theory gang. Ryan, you gave me a replay and I just did that combo whenever I could. So shout outs to Ryan. He gave me a lot of advice with the deck. And then everybody else who would test, obviously Hash and Cormac. I wanted to play Shadol, but they told me to play a better deck, so I looked for a better deck.
I'm happy you didn't play Shadol in the end, I think.
This is definitely a lot more fun to play, so I'm glad they made me change my mind.
Yeah, it seems like a mid-tier combo deck where like you're not you're ending like on a crazy board, but you're not like going through like 100 steps to get there. You're just like summon the Simorg bird and then GG.
Yeah, there wasn't that much to learn either. Like with Virtual World, like all the different combinations of cards means you can do a ton of different stuff. This is just summon as many Tri-brigades and resolve as many as possible and get as many monsters on the field.
Yeah, no, I like that. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, as well as following all of our socials in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors at the Brotherhood Games, Messmat and Card Pocket Down for high quality products and one of the best tournament organisers in the UK. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video.